Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the true power of heaven and earth. Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders and bishops of Great Millstone who taught us this truth and continually teach us this truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. There's laboring in his word and truth sincerity. All right, Lord willing, this could be an edifying video. And I just want to pretty much, cover a few articles. It's a lot going on. Okay, it's a lot going on, and people are beginning to panic. People are beginning to worry about where this is heading. I was listening to Elder Kanat. His page is GMS Dedication, and spirits on him as always. He was going in and he showed, I think it's the Jimmy Dore show or something like that, where pretty much you had him, that guy. I don't know too much about those guys, but that and what's the other, Joe Rogan, and pretty much they were speaking about this war and the situation that's going on, and Joe Rogan was like, I hope things get better, but I don't know, I'm not sure. And that's the mindset of a majority of these so-called Americans. Okay, most of them, they have a mask on, like, everything's going to go back to normal. On the outward, that's how they would appear, like they're not affected. But best believe inwardly, man, these people are losing it. And it's only going to manifest physically on their face the more the ball rolls down the hill. Because this place is done. All right. And as you see right here, which I scroll X, different articles, different pages I'm subscribed to. And I do, check the comments, and, these are good source news outlets that I subscribe to. Sometimes you do come across some BS, but for the most part, these are reliable news sources. So, and Trump actually did say this. All right, what you see right here, Globe Observer, it says Trump says by Wednesday morning, Iran may no longer be on the map. So you got a lot of speculations of what they're going to do. How could they? The only plausible way they could do this is if they use a nuke, which I highly doubt they will, because the response from that could be Russia, retaliating in a nuclear fashion. Colonel Douglas McGregor, he already said he believes Putin has made that clear to Bibi, if they use a nuke in Iran, that they will nuke Israel. So, most likely it's just going to be because Trump said that, they're going to destroy their power infrastructure, and it's attacks ongoing right now where they're hitting railroads, trains, they fucking them up. And you see right here, Iran announces if the U.S. crosses red lines, the response will be beyond the region. Which I want to get another article that kind of expounds on what they mean by that. Hold on. Yeah, this is a good one right here. Iran cancels all diplomatic channels of communication with the U.S. and announces the suspension of any and all message exchange. So pretty much they don't want to have mediators. They're not listening to what Pakistan is telling them, because you have mediators where J.D. Vance and Steve Witkoff, I believe, pretty much they were speaking to Iran through, Pakistan and other mediators. Now Iran is like, no, we ain't talking no more. There's no more holding back. We're not holding back anymore. Which I believe one of these articles is going to say that. This is breaking right here. Iran has announced that it will destroy the entire energy infrastructure of Israel and other countries that host U.S. bases in the region, warning from now on certain considerations regarding good neighborlessness and self-restraint have ended. We will deal with the infrastructure of the United States and its partners in the Persian Gulf in such a way that they will be deprived of the region's oil and gas for years. So this thing, and Russia is warning that the world is about to face a global energy crisis. This is going to cause a global economic crash, a global. Also, you got reports saying a global famine because a lot of fertilizer comes through the Strait of Hormuz as well. That's needed, you know. And now Iran is talking about closing the other strait that's beneath the Red Sea. I forget what that strait's called, but they say about 16 to 20% of the world. I think they said the world trade goes through. I forget exactly what they say goes through there, but pretty much that's gonna be another squeeze. So, oh yeah, of course, America's dating. Of course, that's why Isaiah 4:1 is coming. I was reading this Unusual Well, America's Dating Crisis, and these are all good news sources. All right, I've been following these for a minute. I want to get let's see. I think I'm gonna stop there before I come across something that I won't be able to put on YouTube. But there's other articles I was coming across, pretty much where Iran has made it clear that they're not holding back anymore. Which it says here, self-restraint have ended. But see, people are beginning to lose their marbles, man. People are beginning to, panic. And it's going to show in the markets very soon. We're going to see these markets tank. We're going to see people panic buying, people panic, getting gas, panic filling up. I'm already seeing people filling up jugs when I go to the gas station. People gonna bring them big tanks, man, that they had when that hurricane happened out here like a year or two ago. Gas stations were out of gas. Certain gas stations had the pumps off. You had people panic getting gas, man. Best believe that's about to happen. All right, people gonna panic. People gonna panic still because they ain't got the money to buy the groceries and stuff. It's getting ready. It's going down. And we're in the best position, man. All right. This is Salaki, I did all that, rambling. This is Isaiah chapter 26, verse 3. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee. So we're not panicking. We're not in that Canadian prepper spirit getting freeze-dried tacos that last for 12 years, bug-out bags, MREs. We ain't in that spirit, man, because we trust that Yahweh Bahashim Yahawashi is going to take care of us as he said he would. Okay? He said, my servant shall eat and drink and rejoice for joy of heart. So we're putting all our cards on we're putting all our cards and our trust on the Lord. Okay? The true power of heaven and earth. And we understand that our power is merciful to those that obey, those that are of a contrite spirit, man. He said a contrite spirit will he not reject. Sirach, the 2nd chapter. Matter of fact, let me grab that. All right. Because we're not freaking out. We're not in that spirit, what am I going to do? Oh, man, this is getting bad, man. I hope things get better. We're hoping things get worse because we understand what this is all leading up to. This is all going to lead up to the digital blockchain system, the forced implementation of the MOTB. And once we see that, as Yahawashi said, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. Things are going to super speed up, man. Once they fully start pushing this, man, and people are buying and selling with it, it could be 2 months, and then the nuke's going to go off. Because we're not going to be in that system. We're not going to be in that, digital, everything digital. We're not going to be in that long, man. We're not going to be in a digital AI world for years. Okay, the Lord is going to rain it upon him while he is eating, as it says in Job. So this is Sirach chapter 2. I'm going to go straight to the point. Verse 9, ye that fear the Lord hope for good and for everlasting joy and mercy. Look at the generations of old and see. Did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? So the Lord is like, look, check the receipts. Check the receipts, man. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai has always came through for those that trusted on him. I'm gonna give a few examples. Daniel, he was thrown in the lion's den, right? The Most High had it to where the lions didn't even bother him. They ain't mess with him. But soon as he was delivered out of it and his accusers were thrown into the lion's den, they were torn in pieces. The lions had the mastery over them. You know? The 3 men that were thrown in the fire, that in the eyes of men, it looked like they were facing certain death. The Lord sent the angel to where they didn't even smell like they were in a fire. They didn't have that fire burnt smell on their clothes. Nothing was burnt up. We're talking about the same power that delivered these men that trusted on him. That's the power that we're trusting on. That's why we're in perfect peace, because we have faith that the Lord is with us. You know, the Lord done got us this far. The Lord done had brothers go through different things to solidify and show that he's with, you know, he's with you to build you up for these times. So we're not in that. I recommend brothers watch that video, man. The Elder Page GMS dedication. We're not in that Joe Rogan spirit. I hope things get better. You know, I'm not sure they will. I don't know, because he's invested in this world. You know, dude's a millionaire. He got a good life, man. He got his podcast. He commentated, UFC fights. You know, he got the bag. So these people that got the bag, they don't want this place to go. But fuck you people, man. Fuck you in your bag. All you people about to suffer. Because this devil, he don't give a fuck if you, as it says in Revelation 13, he don't give a fuck if you rich. He don't give a fuck if you poor. He don't give a fuck if you free, if you bond, if you small, if you great, if you a celebrity. He don't care. He looks down on all of you, man. He wants you to take that charagma. So let me grab Isaiah 33:6. And that's why the scriptures say, wisdom strengtheneth the wise more than 10 mighty men which are in the city. Because we fully know why these things are happening, and we're anticipating it. We're like, yeah, Lord willing, hey, because Trump, he can't be making these threats and not following through. Babylon is, you're in a very, very straight right now. You done got yourself in some shit that you can't get out of. And this is all the will of the Lord. This is Isaiah chapter 33, verse 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. So us knowing why these things are happening, because this is all leading up to the return of Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. All that's happening in the world is leading up to his return, and the elites know it. These devils know it. Okay? The spirit is on them to make it happen. And they're openly saying, yeah, this is Armageddon. The Lord is going to come back. They're openly saying this. Because, and this proves the Most High is in control, man. He controls the thoughts of man, the actions of man. We're nothing but mere puppets controlled by Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. So the Most High is making this thing happen. And we know, like I said, this is all leading up to the return of Yahweh Shai, to where he's going to save his elect, be the warm up of destroying this place, because the chariot's going to be shooting lasers, man. Sacred Edges, the 13th chapter goes into that. And that's why this devil make movies like War of the Worlds. because they know that that's what's going to happen. And then once the fathership, gathers the elect, Lord willing, we're a part of that. We're gonna look down from the ship and see this place on fire, and we're gonna praise our power, man. So that's what this is all leading up to. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. So we want this place to go down. We want things to get bad. That's all part of the plan. They, famine, pest, all of these things to force you people to comply and take and worship the beast and take his mark. Okay? So, we're going to keep our eye on the news. We're going to see what's going on. We're going to stay on our watch, because we hastening the return of our power. And we're clearly in the end. But Lord willing, this was an edifying video. With that, I'm going to say shalom.